Let's bring you some new information around Manchester United and the future ownership of the club tonight. We can tell you that Sheikh Jassim has made another increased bid to buy them.
Yeah, as before, it's for the whole club, 100%, clearing all the debt. It includes a separate fund directed solely at the club and the community.
We knew that Sir Jim Ratcliffe was the other man rivalling that bid, remains confident that he can complete his deal, which would see the Glazer family stay on and retain a share in the club. But there is still no confirmed sale in place. The saga rumbles on, but it does feel now like we're getting close to a conclusion. And yeah, this headline news tonight is that Sheikh Jassim has made another bid to buy them. There have been 3 official rounds of bidding. He's increased his bid now, and we wait to see what the upshot will be.
Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Big breaking news surrounding Manchester United in the last 12 hours. A new and improved bid confirmed here by Fabrizio Romano as well last night that Sheikh Jassim has now made an increased bid. As always, it's for 100% of the club and to clear all the debt. This news, though, was originally came out from Chris Wheatley. Chris Wheatley Monday afternoon told us a new and improved bid of £6 billion. That figure is being disputed. Some outlets say 5.5, some are saying 6. It is undisclosed, though, so nobody knows the exact amount surrounding it, but the bid is in. It's an increased bid, and Qatar are confident they will get this job done. We're going to delve into this and many other stories this morning on the show, including an update here from Chris Wheatley that with Mavropanos being lined up to replace Kim Min-Jae, it does appear that the centre-back is very much Manchester United bound. We're also taking a look at the situation at Chelsea as Poch has massive plans as his arrival becomes ever more imminent. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace. Let's go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Terrace. Remember, there's still time to enter our raffle to win 2 tickets plus £250 spending money to the FA Cup final, which is getting ever closer now. There's about a week, just over a week left until we do the draw. Going to give the winner at least a week to plan their journey and whatever it is they need to do to get to Wembley for the Manchester Derby final. You can scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in our description below, but get yourselves into that raffle. Spaces are running out. But it was a mad night for Man United. It really was. It was a mad one for me because I had to work on the Champions League last night, and all I really wanted to do as a Man United fan was talk about this big news that a new bid has been made, a £6 billion bid according to Chris Wheatley, and Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that the bid has gone in. Chris Wheatley has said it's around £6 billion. You have had Ben Jacobs, another friend of the Terrace, who said he's been told around 5.5 billion. And it really depends on which side of the fence you sit on. I'm not worried about the monetary amount the media is talking about. And I'll tell you why. The Glazers will always, the Glazers will probably leak to the media when this is all said and done. They got more than £6 billion. The winning bid, especially if it's from Qatar, will push down that valuation and say, no, we've got it cheaper than that. Because everybody wants to appear that they have won. Why do I think this will happen? A lot of business deals do this when it's an undisclosed fee. Transfers do it in football all the time. The seller says it's higher than the buyer. So I'm not worried about that. I'm really not. I look at it from this point of view. Very rarely do these billionaires from the Middle East get into these types of bidding wars for products or businesses and fail. Very, very rarely indeed do they get into these bidding processes and foul. Do they go this deep into a process and lose? So I still have a real sense and air of confidence that Qatar could take over. Now, that doesn't mean that Sir Jim doesn't have a chance and doesn't have an opportunity. Let's not do polarization. I know a lot of Twitter is like that. It's unbelievable. But the new bid has gone in. And you can see the confirmation on the screen from Fabrizio Romano. We shared the news from Chris Wheatley just a couple of days ago. This was Monday, that the new 6 billion offer was coming in. It was kind of played down when he said it. I'm not really too sure why people play down Chris Wheatley. This guy is very, very legit. But what does this new bid look like and what does it mean, I suppose, is the big question for a lot of people. Well, there's some elements of the bid which are almost not irrelevant, but I don't know how much weight they hold. So it's been an increased offer. Okay, the amount of money that's been offered as it stands right now is undisclosed, but it's believed to be between 5.5 and 6 billion pounds, depending upon what outlet you listen to. However, I want to read this out to you here. It says, seeking clarity, sources close to the 9-2 Foundation indicate the offer is over 7 billion all in, from which 1 billion is pledged investment. Now, pledged investment is about replenishing the ground, new training facilities, players, everything else. I don't know how much weight that holds with the Glazers. And the reason I say that is the example I would give is this. If I'm trying to buy your house and you want £500,000 for it, but I offer you 450,000, but tell you I'm going to spend 200,000 on improving it, why would that matter to you as the seller? There's no upside. The only way this matters is if there's information that we haven't been told. And this is a weird thing to say about the Glazers, is if they're looking to get as much money as possible, but they also want to make sure the club is in the best hands for the future. If they end up taking less money from the Sheikh, but they think his overall plan's better, I hate to say it, but that makes me quite happy. Not with the Glazers. There's nothing about them I like. But because of how I feel about the Glazers, I almost feel like, is this pledged investment? To us as fans, it's like, yes, that's what we want. But to the Glazers, does it really matter? I'm not too sure. But a lot of the British press does regularly play down the Sheikh's bid versus Sir Jim's bid. But when you look at the press from outside the UK, especially from the Middle East, they talk about it in a very different way. So it depends how you read this and understand it. Remember about the Sheikh's bid, though, and this is why we want the Sheikh's bid. He is basically stating that he will be clearing the debt and will be investing lots of money into the club. As of right now, Sir Jim has made no indication about exactly how he clears the current debt. We know he's buying the club with debt. That's going to be paid for by his business. Man United will not have double debt, according to his bid. So that has now been debunked. We don't know what he's doing about the existing debt. And we have no idea about his plans to improve Man United as a football club in terms of transfers, stadia, training facilities, infrastructure, and no plans yet around how he improves the local community, what money is going to be pumped into the Manchester area. So let's see what happens. But I think what Sky have said is very true. It does now appear that things are coming to an end. We should be receiving a preferred bidder at some point soon. But the reason I have confidence in the situation with the Qataris is this. 4 to 5 weeks ago, Al Jazeera, maybe a little bit less than that to be fair, stated that the Sheikh was bemused by the idea that Sir Jim has and will bid more, and that his package and offer is better. They were also bemused by the figures being pushed around of the amount because they believe they bid much more. They also stated in that article that the bid and the negotiation process was fluid, and at any point, if they needed to, they would increase their offer, and they have. The story from Al Jazeera, which I believe comes directly from the head honchos behind the Qatar bid, everything they said has happened. And their report was so very different from 95% of the British media. And the fact that theirs is the only one that has gone like clockwork, theirs is the only one that has every stage has happened. I have a little bit of confidence in it. The same as Chris Wheatley, who's been very quiet on this circumstance until Monday. He said, this is what we've been told. New 6 billion bid coming in, blah, blah, blah. Most outlets went, I haven't heard this. The same as the Min-Jae news, which we'll talk about in a few moments. And then it all starts to break afterwards. So I feel an air of confidence, but I'm not allowing myself to get carried away. And I implore United fans not to, because We are dealing with the Glazers, and I believe money is their true motivator. I really, really do. So let's see what happens with this. Super chat here from the Bill. Said Radcliffe is a disgrace, letting the Glazers stay. Utterly shameful. Man United under him will not be as successful as Qatar. Also, debt not going anywhere. Listen, I understand 110% that you don't want Sir Jim. I, like you, would prefer the Glazers. There's no doubt about that in my mind. And yeah, I'm worried about the debt not being cleared. If the debt isn't cleared, then it's a sham. It's 110% a sham. So I agree with you on that. I don't ignore my Twitch people. I can see you there loud and clear, my friend. Mark here said the deal is taking so long. The Glazers don't care about the future of Manchester United. It's about how much money they will get. So the offer has to benefit the Glazers. Yeah, the deal's only taking long, my friend, because, well, it was always going to take this long. There's no because. It was always going to take this long. People are using the Chelsea sale as a barometer, but you cannot. That sale was under duress and threat of essentially expulsion from the league and maybe even closing down and going out of business because of the sanctions against Roman Abramovich. So it was a forced sale, like a shotgun wedding. It was like a shotgun wedding. You know, you got my daughter pregnant, you marry her now. Not, oh, you love my daughter, let's plan a wedding for the next 2 years. Let's make it the most special day ever because you're so in love. So there's a fundamental difference here. The Man United sales process, the experts told everybody in January, this could be anywhere between 6 to 12 months to get resolved. I think some sports journalists and content creators push this narrative of, it's going to be done in 6 weeks, guys. It was never going to happen. So yeah, I get why it feels like it's taking too long, but it's pretty much par for the course for it. You've got to remember, the biggest sporting takeover in the history of planet Earth. No takeover of any sports club, franchise, business has ever been this big. It was never going to be a quick sale. Never, ever in a million years. How much money do you think Sir Jim is getting out of the deal? Clear to see the Glazers and Radcliffe are in partnership to drive up the Glazer bid. I don't necessarily think that's true. That would be illegal activities, and I just don't believe that billionaires that are really, really rich for £100 million are going to do something like that. Like, I just don't believe they are. It's like you earning a six-figure salary, being really wealthy, and then breaking the law to make £1,000. Why would you do it? You know, risking everything. It just doesn't make sense to me. I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. That's just one I don't buy into personally. But I think that Sir Jim's trying to get the club. I think Sir Jim thinks, you know, he wants to own Man United, but he's doing it in a different way. I'm not happy with all the elements of his bid. I'm really not, especially the debt. But do I think he's making money on the side? Illegal activity? No, I'm not going to buy into that conspiracy theory myself. Morning, Terry. Have to be early to catch me out, bro. Kids, school and nursery done. Now work. I still waiting, but this all seems better news. Yes, it's definitely better news today. There's no doubt about that, my friend. And I think that United fans should be feeling a little more excited. Also, New York Stock Exchange may play an important part. What if they don't want out too? Because Sir Jim Ratcliffe's Man United valuation will be that high. That may be an important factor. But Sir Jim getting the club reduces the value, so the valuation will reduce slightly. They almost have no, when it's on the stock exchange, it's to a degree, it's always buyable. You just got to buy it at the price of the shares, right? So when you own shares, they're always gettable to a certain degree. But we'll see what happens with that. Rice and Caicedo. Okay, we'll come to the Arsenal. Okay, no, all right. Sorry. Yeah, that is about Man United. We'll come to Arsenal in a minute. We'll talk about the transfers now, though. And what's really interesting to me, Pav here with a great point. First of all, says no one knows the real package from Jazim. Journalists are guessing. It's a waiting game at the moment. But that's exactly it. The reason that the real fees are not being released is because that would speed up the process, and the Glazers don't want to speed the process up. They want to create more competitive tension. An example is this. Middle East News last night said that it's been reported in England that it's a take it or leave it bid. But the reports coming out of the Middle East is that it's not a take it or leave it bid. This is a fluid bidding process. There has never been a hard deadline. So if they say no to this bid and go, right, we're going to go with Sir Jim, the Sheikh can bid again. But why is he going to bid whatever in his head he's willing to pay? why would you offer that total amount until you truly had to? You'd be an idiot too, because they don't just want to own the club; they want to win the bidding process and fight, and you can't ignore that. I know for fans, we don't care about that. Like most people don't care about the transfer process and all the little nooks and crannies within it. I love the sales process of the transfer window. It's exciting. But some people don't care, just pay the money. It's not about just paying the money. Sometimes the club doesn't want to just pay out what fans want them to pay, because if they keep doing that, they lose power and control in future negotiations. The Qataris here will be bidding to buy multiple other businesses over the next 20, 30 years. They need to be seen to be winning. So you're absolutely right, Pav. You're absolutely right there, my friend. We have to learn that. I know this sounds harsh, but this is all of us, including me. None of us really and truly understand the pride and the arrogance and the face and the front that comes with this level of business. You're not talking about, you don't even talk about buying a house. You're talking about £5 to £6 billion and the biggest sporting club takeover in the history of our world, of our planet. This has never been done before. So yeah, it's going to take its time. Terry Fergie wants the Glazers to stay. Yeah, show me that quote, my bro. Show me that quote where he says that. Now, on the transfer news, now I want to speak about this morning because this kind of went under the radar yesterday afternoon. But Chris Wheatley here says Mavropanos is being lined up as a replacement for Manchester United bound defender Kim Min-Jae at Napoli. Goes on to say that Arsenal will benefit from any potential offer because they have a sell-on clause. Now, this is very, very positive news for Manchester United as well, because this story is an interesting one. The Italian press, especially the local journalists from Napoli, stated on Monday that the player has agreed to join Man United in principle. He wants to become a Man United player, but details need to be resolved with his contract. And then, of course, the official bid in for the buyout clause. Now, what's really exciting about this from my point of view is that news was played down. The mainstream media again, the British press again on Tuesday. There's interest, but nothing advanced, no offers. It's going nowhere. And then, boom, Chris Wheatley, one of the most credible journalists out there, comes out with Man United bound Kim Min-Jae. Now, does it mean the deal is done? No. So nobody misquote. But it does appear this deal is getting close, according to Chris Wheatley and the Italian press, who are doubling down and saying, no, this player wants to go to Manchester United as it stands. Now, there's always a sting in the tail with these situations. There's always a sting in the tail. A Bayern Munich, a Manchester City also gets involved and offers a better package and makes a better offer to the player, and it changes their mind. And I believe that's why Man United are trying to get this done quickly, because at the moment, United are leading the race. The same as Arsenal with Declan Rice, as an example. They're leading that race, and they want to get that deal closed down, shut down, signed, sealed, and delivered quickly. And I'm really excited about this deal. I'm really excited about this deal because from my point of view, having a big, athletic, strong, highly capable centre-back, right-sided, who can play out from the back is exactly what Man United need. To have him, Lissandro, and Rafael Varane, suddenly, with a backup of Lindelof stroke Shaw that can come inside, you're looking at a very different Man United central defensive area compared to 2 years ago. Vastly superior to what we have right now. And it is a massive improvement to the core of Manchester United. So I'm very, very impressed if Man United get this business done sooner rather than later. It will be a massive marker and a massive step, in my opinion, in the right direction. So yeah, very, very happy with that indeed. There's no doubt about it. Pav here, though, says fans already pitting Varane versus Kim on Twitter. Why can't people be happy that we have depth? You got to remember, Pav, for a lot of people, the controversy, creating controversy and negativity is their only commodity. It's the only thing they have. If they're not doing that and they're being normal, like the rest of us human beings, then nobody pays them any attention. And it's all built upon narcissism. All built upon narcissism. It's not even about being right with some people. It's I need the attention. And how do I get attention? I create controversy. Without the controversy, I saw someone post the other day something about the manager and his future of his job. there was just no need for the post because nobody's thinking about sacking Ten Hag. But of course, the post created a backlash against that person. But I believe that's what they wanted. So yeah, I'm not worried about those Man United fans. Anyone I see doing things like that when there's no need for it, I mute it. Now, you know, he's not even here yet, so it's a pointless conversation. But either in the team is amazing. It's not like you're saying, "Oh, why are we playing Maguire over Varane?" when there's a clear difference in quality. You're talking about two top-class centre backs. There isn't a fight. They did it with Pogba and Bruno. There should never have been a fight. It should have been, "Wow, we have both." I don't understand. You know, if your mum and dad buy you a PlayStation and an Xbox, why fight about which one's better? Enjoy the fact you've got both. It's crazy to me, but I suppose that's the height of privilege, isn't it? The height of privilege is moaning about how much privilege you got. It's weird. The people in this world are weird. I don't get it. Rice and Caicedo links are building. What percentage do you think Arsenal will get both? It's a great question. Fairly low, 40, 50%. Flip of a coin if they can get both. But if you do look at Arsenal, it looks like they're planning an exodus with Tierney, Xhaka. And by the way, I have to shout out Jess because she got cooked by the Arsenal community when she said 2 weeks ago she thinks Xhaka will leave. They went in on her like she walked in their house on Christmas Day and in their children's faces. That's how angry they got with her. But she was beyond spot on. But yeah, they're clearing it. They're having Xhaka, I think, Balogun, Tierney, Lokonga, loads of players going out. So if they're clearing that many players out and they've already got a big transfer budget, there's a chance it happens. Do you think United's takeover could get Rice to United? Oh, there's a massive possibility of that, my friend. There's a huge possibility that the takeover leads to Man United being able to compete even more in the transfer market. Now, I know a lot of people, and Nabil has said it here, the longer it takes, Man United's transfers will get hit. Man United are already working on their transfers. There's already the money to buy Kane. And the only reason we walk away from Kane isn't money, it's timing. There's already the money to buy Kim. So Man United have got money and they will spend. There will be more money if the takeover is completed sooner rather than later. So I get that we all want it, but the process is the process is the process. You know, Newcastle's takeover happened mid-season. Sometimes these things happen. I don't think it's something, again, Man United fans, I know we're angry about the Glazers, but to a degree, take a chill pill. Take a chill pill on it. It may not happen in time to have a massive impact this summer, but football isn't one season. You know, it's not a one season wonder. It's a process that continues. I want it now so that we have a better summer. But if it doesn't happen until October, then so be it. But the Glazers being gone is the most important thing to focus on. And I say to Man United fans, show a little bit of decorum. Stop showing so much arse on camera. Stop showing acting like a small club, a panicked fan base. Be a bit more calm. Be a bit more chilled. Be a bit more cool, calm, and collective on this. Really, it's a better look. Man United's priority: centre back, 2 midfielders, and a striker. Pretty much, I would say. I think you're absolutely right when you say that, Nabil. I don't think there's anything that you said there that comes across as wrong to me in any capacity. Yeah, Smith Rowe will leave as well. Again, I got bullshit from Arsenal fans for saying I think Smith Rowe will leave. They were angry. They were fuming. And I couldn't really understand why they were angry with it. It made no sense to me for them to be angry at me for suggesting that Smith Rowe would go. You can look at the telltale signs when a team is making substitutions to win games and you've got an attacker on the bench like Smith Rowe and he was seldom being asked to come on. That tells you what the manager thinks of you. You know, a lot of you like, do you think Palestri will get more game time next year? No. We've had massive issues on our right-hand side this season, and he's barely kicked a ball. There's a message in that. If Ahmad comes back after a brilliant season at Sunderland and is loaned out again, I don't think he has a career at Man United because you'd give him a go now. You know, people have got to drop their personal feelings and wake up and smell the coffee in these circumstances. There's no doubt. You guys are arguing about City. Manchester City was a small club that just got lucky. Yeah, I mean, listen, they won the lottery when they got Sheikh Mansour kept coming in, and you know the rest is history from that point. But if you'd have picked a different club to buy, yeah, the rest that would also be history as well. Like Chelsea would never have won what they did if Roman Abramovich had bought Tottenham like he wanted to, in my opinion. And why do I say that? Because it was 5-6 years later, Sheikh Mansour came along, and we haven't seen another takeover like that since. So maybe Chelsea would have been taken over instead of Man City, but who knows the way that their lives. But that's part and parcel of life. You know, sometimes you just get that little bit of luck. You know, if Ron Atkinson had been a little bit more successful at Man United, we wouldn't have got Sir Alex Ferguson, and we wouldn't be what we are. Different scenario, but same logic. And I think that's that kind of thing for me is just par for the course. You know, if Bruce Rioch or George Graham's situation was different because there were some allegations going on at the time. But if that hadn't happened, maybe Wenger doesn't join Arsenal. Maybe the Invincibles don't exist. You can kind of play that game with all clubs and all scenarios, really. But in case anyone's just tuning in today, the breaking news that has come out is that Manchester United have had a new £6 billion offer made to buy the football club. That has been confirmed by the likes of Fabrizio Romano. Chris Wheatley was the first journalist to let us know this. He came out and told us this news just a few short days ago. The bid is in, being reported by the English press as a take it or leave it bid. Excuse me. It remains to be seen whether it is a take it or leave it bid. We'll wait to see the wood through the trees. But the new bid is in to buy Manchester United. Also, news circulating today that Man United are closing in on the deal for Kim Min-Jae from Napoli as well. Also, big Poch news. Poch has got massive plans at Chelsea, and we will come on to that later in the show. Terry is a United fan with a clown emoji. I don't understand why. I don't get that. Jacob here says, Emil Smith-Rowe slowly recovering from injury, won't be leaving. Jacob, you may end up being right, but I also want to say this to you. I'd prepare yourself for him to go. When you say slowly recovering from injury, let's have a little look at this. Smith-Rowe injury record. When did he actually return from his injury? So he hasn't been injured since November the 28th. Smith-Rowe has not been injured since November the 28th. Yes, he was out for 63 days from September the 26th until the 20th. November till now. I remember Chelsea fans for 2 years saying, Callum Hudson-Odoi is just recovering from his Achilles. He wasn't good enough. Or the manager didn't fancy him. I say this to you now, Jacob. Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. How certain are you for the Qatari takeover? Give me a percentage. 70%? That's because we only have a slither of information that's real or factual. A lot of it is speculation. So for me, I'm going to go 70%. 70% is how I feel as of right now. There we go. What injury? Lol. What do you mean, what injury? He was injured. It says here he had groin surgery. September 26th until November 28th, he was out for 63 days. But he's not been injured since. So this notion that he's still recovering, if you're like his age, 22 years, and it's taking you 6 months to recover and you still can't kick a ball properly, something about that ain't right to me. For me, wake up and smell the coffee is my message. It really, really is. David here says he's 71% sure personally. There we go. Look, we'll share a little link. We'll just take some calls from you this morning. I'm going to share the link now in the comment section. So call in now if you want to have your say on the show. Do it via StreamYard, as you will know to do. United comeback, Terry. Look, Man United need this takeover. And it isn't just about buying players. Everybody ignores the problems at Man United because, again, if rivals actually acknowledge what our problems were, they wouldn't be able to like do this sort of weird praising of the Glazers they do. Oh, they spend money, though, on players. They waste money on so many players. They waste money on projects. But they've allowed the whole club to dilapidate. And just like any of you, if you worked in an office block or you worked in a building that the owners of the business let fall apart was rotting, it would demotivate the way you work, or it would lower the standards at your business. The Qataris coming in, new owners coming in, clearing debts, improving infrastructure, pumping money into multiple areas. It will give the club a huge boost. Eddie Howe's done a great job at Newcastle. The signings have helped at Newcastle. But don't ignore the fact that the club improving its overarching standards, improving infrastructure. These guys were having ice baths in paddling pools in the Premier League. Improving that element of a football club, you get more out your workforce, which are the players. So listen, I know rivals hate hearing this, but especially if the Sheikh comes in, be worried, be fearful, because Man United are going up a level. 110% Man United are going up a level. This here states that Man United have already informed Napoli that they will pay Kim Min-Jae's release clause of 56 million euros, 43 million pounds, in the 15-day period that will start at the start of July. So that's what I was waiting for. So I've been told 3 different things on this, that the buyout clause already here. Someone said to me the other day, oh, no, it's from the 1st of July to the 15th of July. So United have to wait until that point to submit their official bid. But of course, the personal terms are being done now. That makes a lot more sense. And that's where journalists always annoy me, because they go, nothing is advanced right now. Well, it's as advanced as it can be, considering we won't bid until the 1st of July. Because why would we pay more? However, there is a train of thought that Man United could bid slightly more, so that they don't have to wait for the buyout clause to push away any potential competitors. So let's wait and see what happens in relation to that. Terry, do you believe Arsenal are going big this summer, or these stories just... Listen, Lee Gunner believes these stories are all fabrication. Lee Gunner believes that all these stories are to distract from the failure at the end of the season. Not that I think your overall season has been a failure, but the failure at the end of the season. I disagree with him slightly. Do I believe you're going to sign all these stars you're linked to? No. I'll believe that when I see it, and when it happens, I'll praise it. But do I believe you're just going to go out there and sign 3 or 4 mid-level players? No, I don't. I believe you will sign some stars this summer. I genuinely do. I genuinely do. Yeah. Yeah, I totally do. This here says, Frank says, they are bad for football and never should have got hold of the club. I don't understand how they ever was allowed to have it. Of course, I don't want you to be super rich, but it is what it is. Yeah, the Glazers should never have been allowed to buy Man United, but remember, they lied. Some of the stories I remember being published when they first took over. They stated by 2011 or 12, all the debt should have been paid off. And actually, when you used to play Football Manager, when you were younger, Man United had debt and you were paying debt every year on the game. But by like 2010, 2011, it was paid off. And I always remember going, well, I read the stories in the papers, it was going to be paid off. It was even integrated into the computer games. So as a Man United fan, I used to defend it to a degree. I used to be like, yeah, the debt's bad, but it'll all be paid off by a certain date. That's what they've told the press, and it's on computer games, and it's out there in the world for everyone. I remember people on MUTV saying it. Well, it's being paid off. And then by kind of like 08, 09, it started being revealed it isn't. It's capital only. And I was against them taking over, but it was like, oh, it's bad, guys, but it will be paid off and then we'll be debt-free. When I learned that they were not paying the debt off, it's like, wow. And that's maybe what the Premier League should put in place. A fit and proper person's test, but go, right, you can't break... If you break these rules, you're forced to sell the club in the same way that Chelsea were forced to sell, right? That way, if an owner said, right, we're putting some debt on the club, but it'll be paid off in 5 years, and 10 years later it ain't paid off, there should be a forced sale of the club. That's what they have to protect football clubs from owners like this. You're absolutely right. Something along those lines. Terry, guess who has a similar release clause to Kim Min-Jae? De Zerbi. That's interesting. Terry, business hat on, what would you do? I'll take the most amount of money. But again, my business hat is this. So I love the Football Terrace. If I was to completely sell all my shareholdings at the Football Terrace, I would want to do it to people that were not going to kill and destroy it. But that isn't always the case. I had a friend who not long ago sold a business of his, and all the promises the new owners made in terms of staff that he would keep on, they would keep on, the direction they would go in. Within 2 months, they lied and just literally changed everything, sacked nearly everybody in the workforce. So it's a hard, like the moral standpoint is hard because you almost have no say over it. You almost have no say over it whatsoever. So yeah, it is a genuine difficult one, to be fair. Right, we're going to take some calls now. Pav's on the line with us right now. Welcome back to the show, Pav. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's been a while. Obviously, I ain't been able to come onto the show for a while, health reasons and stuff. But yeah, I just like the takeover stuff. I kind of like stopped giving notice or going on Twitter to look for information that much because it was just different things every single week. It's like, what's happening. There's the English media trying to push the Ratcliffe's bid through. They're trying to like brainwash fans on Twitter. You can see it all, what's happening on there. You got certain accounts back in Qatar. I saw actually a post yesterday, I think it was from Phil Brown maybe, and he come out and said that there's certain big accounts on Twitter that are being paid for maybe both parties to actually push their bids to the fans. But like fans need to like make up their own mind. Like one of the people that I've seen who's been doing it from day one, Miguel Delaney, that man there, he's doing everything possible to ruin the Qatari name. Like this whole stuff about like human rights stuff and that, I don't pay attention to it because we're in 2023. And how many years, we're going back thousands of years, have human rights been an issue, and it's 2023 and it's still now. Like things like that never change. Like you could talk about things being morally right and stuff, but around the world there's never anything that's gonna like be morally right. So I put myself away from them sort of things. Like I haven't got time like to waste my life on thinking about other things that are never going to change. It's not for the regular person to make them changes. We're not the government and stuff like that. So like when it comes to like things about sports, I want to just keep it about sports. Like I will always go to the best bid. Like for me, the best bid would be a Qatar bid because of what he's saying that he wants to do with the club. Like the refurb of the stadium or the new stadium, clear all debt, transfers for both men's and women's teams, better facilities. And he's put that information out there. With like the Ratcliffe one, he's just put out what he wants to do. And he's like pissed off a lot of fans about obviously keeping the glazers in. But go back a year, if that come in a year ago, most of us would have been happy, right? If it was just that happening a year ago. Like even I didn't want Ratcliffe. Like I was annoyed now when I was seeing what the bid was. But if it was a year ago, I was like thinking I probably would have like been like, cool, take it, because it means like he'll be like the majority shareholder. But I still don't want him now because I always run to where the most money is. It's the fact of life. Most people will always go for where they're getting the most money, whether it's personal or like sports or whatever.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a no-brainer. It's a Qatar bid. Hopefully they do get it, but if it's Ratcliffe, then what can we do? It is what it is. We're gonna have to just see what the guy does. Obviously, if he runs it like the Glazers, the match-going fans will just do what they've been doing for the past 18 years. Keep giving them money because nothing ever changes.
And bro, that's one of the reasons why, for me, I don't want Sajim. Everybody knows I don't want him over the Qataris, okay? Do I think him taking over and running the club will see us stay where we are, like under the Glazers, and no improvements to the stadium, no improvements to the training facilities? No, I do think we'll become a better club. Do I like the idea that they're going to remain 20% owners and they'll be paid out more in 3 years? No. But I still think with Sajim, we become a better football club than under the Qataris. However, than under the Glazers. Under the Qataris, I think we become an even better football club. But where my annoyance rises from is this. All the people I see online that are adamant no to Sajim, they're the same people that are no to the Glazers but buy the kits, They're the same people that are at the games. They're the same people that are pumping money into the football club. And yesterday, I'm seeing it trending. I saw Bruno Fernandes's name trending. Wow, what's happened? It's all the Man United fans talking about the Player of the Year award at the club and how to vote and what to do. And I'm like, well, to vote, you have to be a member of the website. How can any Man United fan be a member of the Man United website when we should be boycotting everything Man United until the Glazers are gone? And that's for me why I can't take certain people's complaints seriously about full takeover only. You say that now, but you're going to go out and buy all the kits in the summer, renew your memberships, pump all your money into the club. You're a hypocrite. Like, you're a hypocrite.
It's like
and that's what I can't buy into. Like, do you know why I'm desperate? I was saying to Jess last night. The biggest reason, not the biggest reason, that's a lie, the club. The biggest reason from a selfish perspective, I want the Qataris in. I want it announced tomorrow. I want to go straight out and buy all my children kits. I want to get back involved in feeling like a full Man United fan again and wearing the kits and buying the clothes. And I miss putting a Man United jacket on and going out. I used to love repping my club. It's how I feel a supporter, right? But one of the reasons.
It's like
Sorry, Matt, but I'm not going to do that if I'm not happy about the ownership. What I'm not going to do is moan about something and then participate in it. I can't be that level of a hypocrite. I just can't.
It's like the protest we had against the Villa game. I talked to a couple of the 1958 like the group members on Twitter, but I don't say it directly to them. But what's the point? We're on about having the biggest protest one last time before the sale and stuff, but what's the point? It means nothing now. Like, these protests and holding the banners and stuff, it means nothing because it's all down to the Glazers. There's obviously some of them who just want out totally, but two of them who are literally holding on because they might get an extra 200 mil in a couple of years. What happens now? It's about money. It's about how much they can rinse out. Like, if they don't want to sell it, they'll just take the dividends. It doesn't matter. They're getting money no matter what. So we have to hope as fans that obviously whoever you're backing offers them the most amount of money to just get rid. And obviously, like, my choice, Qatar, it's going to be Qatar all day long. It is what it is. And like, moving on from that takeover talk, like Kim Min-Jae, I remember you had Ben Jacobs on it. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, and I mentioned Kim Min-Jae then, and I said, like, is there any chance of us getting him? Because I was looking at it as like, clearly we don't want Maguire. Lindelof's talking about maybe moving on, and Varane, like, even though he's retired from international football, when you're at that age and your injury, I know he was on like a course, like something that Ten Hag set up for him at the beginning of the season, and he was doing pretty well till he had that injury before the World Cup, and then he was preparing for that. And I was like, we need to probably get two centre backs because at his age, like how your body works. When you're getting older and older, you're never right. You're never gonna become the player you were. So we had to get more than two centre backs. And Kim Min-Jae, he's quality. That guy is quality. And I remember there was quite a few people who wanted him when he was in Turkey, but people say, even like journalists said, like, a lot of Premier League clubs do not like to buy from them leagues. They like to see the players prove it in a bigger league. But the price is good. Like, how often do we spend all this money on like players and they're a bit of a disappointment?
I totally get where you're coming from, and I think the Kim Min-Jae deal is one that we need to 110% push for. We need to improve that. I was talking about Arsenal yesterday and how they need to do top-down improvement. So you improve the first 11, that will improve your squad. This notion of some clubs can do this when their first 11 and bench is already strong, but until you've got a strong bench and a strong first 11, this notion of buying squad players is almost stupid. You need to buy better first team players. Man United fans have got to not be personally attached to any player, and we need to look to improve the first team playing squad massively. KJ joins us now. Before I go to KJ, Nabil's put a super chat in that says, watch the video I sent you. People who are complaining about HR, who's HR on HR issue while
human rights
issues whilst using their iPhones. I want Qatar so I can go to Old Trafford after 13 years. Look, I've said it before, and I'm seeing people in the comments talk some weird stuff, like how can British people talk about human rights when what their country has done? Again, I look at it from both sides. Some bloke sitting in his house, normal working class person, he isn't accountable for what he's got, wherever he's in the world, whether he's in Britain, America, Nigeria, Australia, Singapore. He's not accountable to what his country did last week or 100 years ago or 500 years ago. So it's not on them. Equally, on the other side of that conversation, because of the amount of money that certain regions of the world invest already in businesses, in technology, in travel, that we all use and consume on a day-to-day basis, it is highly hypocritical to say no to it in sport, but yes to it everywhere else, and then